القائد المعظم وضيفه فخامة الرئيس بيل كلينتون رئيس الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية.
Bill Clinton, the President of the United States of America.
بسم الله الرحمن.
In the name of God,
سيدي صاحب الجلالة الهاشمية
Your Royal Majesty,
الملك الحسين المعظم
King Hussein,
فخامة الرئيس بيل كلينتون،
Mr. President Bill Clinton,
باسم زملائي
on behalf of my colleagues,
أعضاء مجلس الأعيان ومجلس النواب،
the members of both houses of the Jordanian
يشرفني
Parliament,
أن أرحب
I
أجمل
am deeply
الترحيب
honored to extend a heartiest welcome to Your Majesty
وبضيف الأردن
and
الكبير
to Jordan's most
الرئيس
distinguished
بيل
guest,
كلينتون
President Bill Clinton,
رئيس الولايات
President of the
المتحدة
United States of
الأمريكية
America,
في مجلس
to the
الأمة
House of the
الأردني.
Jordanian Parliament.
فخامة الرئيس،
Mr. President,
إنه لحقا
this is indeed
يوم عظيم
a special day
ومناسبة
and an
مشهودة
auspicious occasion.
أن تكونوا
You,
فخامتكم
sir,
أول
are the
رئيس
first
دولة
foreign head of state
يخاطب
to
البرلمان،
address the Jordanian Parliament.
كما أنكم
You are also
أول رئيس أمريكي
the first American president
يخاطب برلمان
to address an Arab parliament.
وإن في هذا
We believe this to be
الاحترام والتقدير
a fitting tribute to you and to the great American people.
وهو
It
كذلك
is also
شاهد أكيد
an eloquent testament
على كل ما يجمعنا،
to all that we have in common.
فبلدانا
Our two countries
تربطهما
are
علاقات
bound by a
وصداقات
friendship
وصداقة ازدهرت
which has
على
flourished
مدى
for almost
يقرب من نصف قرن،
half a century.
وإن هذه الصداقة
This friendship
قد ترسخت
is fairly
على
embedded
أسس متينة
in the solid foundations of our common principles,
وبخاصة
especially those
مبادئ الحرية
relating to freedom, democracy,
والتعددية
plurality,
وحقوق
and
الإنسان.
human rights.
وانطلاقا من روح الصداقة
In the spirit of genuine friendship
والقيم المشتركة،
and shared values,
اسمحوا لي
allow me,
أرحب
Mr.
بفخامة
President,
بيننا
to welcome you amongst us.
السيد الرئيس.
Mr. President,
واليوم فقد توجت
His
بالنجاح
Majesty's ceaseless
جهود جلالة
and tireless efforts
الموصولة
have been
والدؤوبة
crowned with
على
success,
مدى أربعة قرون،
spanning 4 decades.
أربعة عقود. واليوم
Today,
فقد أهدى جلالة
His Majesty,
سيدنا المفدى
our beloved King,
إلى شعبه
presented to his people the gift of peace.
وهي هدية لا تقدر بثمن.
This is a priceless gift.
وإن أسمى ما يقدمه
Jordanians can thank His Majesty only
إلى مليكهم الغالي
by their continued
هو عهدهم
hard work,
لجلالته على مواصلة العمل
devotion,
وصدق الانتماء
and loyalty.
وعميق الولاء. وكذلك
They
يا
look
فخامة
forward,
الرئيس،
Mr. President.
فإن معاهدة السلام الأردنية الإسرائيلية
The Jordanian-Israeli peace treaty, Mr. President, would also not have been attainable without your help, support, and understanding.
كما كان التزام
The commitment to make the United States
بأن تكون شريكا
a full
كاملا
partner in the peace
في
process
عملية السلام
was a major factor in attaining the peace
في تحقيق السلام الذي حرمنا
we had been denied for 46 years.
سنة وتقديرا منا يا فخامة
Mr. President,
لالتزامكم
for your commitment and support of the peace process, which finally brought fruition to our mutual efforts, please accept our gratitude and appreciation.
والآن يا فخامة الرئيس
Now, Mr. President,
نحن ندخل مرحلة
we are entering a new era.
ننتقل معها
We move
حالة الحرب إلى حالة
from a
السلام.
state of war to a state of peace,
حالة الخوف والتهديد
from a state of fear and threat to a state of hope and development,
حالة العداء
from a state of animosity and suspicion to a state of good neighborly relations and trust, from a state of barriers and isolation to a state of openness and cooperation. We hope the United States will continue to assist us in achieving this noble endeavor, just as it helped us attain the long-awaited peace. Honorable Senators and Deputies, it is my honor to present to you President Bill Clinton, the President of the United States of America.
Your Majesties, Prime Minister Majali, Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, members of the Parliament, citizens of Jordan, citizens of the United States. Mr. President, thank you for that generous introduction. Your Majesty, thank you for welcoming me to your beautiful country and for giving me the opportunity to accept your kind hospitality after your many visits to our capital. I thank you all for the honor to address this assembly and to reflect with you on this historic day of peace. On this day, Your Majesty, descendant of the Prophet Muhammad, in making peace with your neighbor, has done even more than fulfill the legacy of King Abdullah. You have sent a signal to the entire Arab world that peace is unstoppable. On this day, in the desert of the Great Rift Valley, the people of Jordan stepped out of the shadows of strife. You made a bold choice. You rejected the dark forces of terror and extremism. You embraced the bright promise of tolerance and moderation. You spurned those who would drag you back into the hostile past. You chose instead a future of opportunity and tranquility for your children. The United States admires and supports the choice you have made, and we will stand with you in the months and years ahead. Today, the people of Jordan pay homage to those who led the great Arab revolt for freedom, independence, and unity. You honor the memory of 3 generations of Jordanians who gave their lives in defense of your country, what Your Majesty has called the shattering toll in blood and tears, the waste of youth, and the grief of our forefathers. In your address to our Congress 2 months ago, Your Majesty called for an end to the unnatural and sinister state that has bred fear and isolation. You urged your people to commit themselves to establishing a new, humane, and natural order. Now the people of Jordan have said, enough of blood, enough of tears. It is time to move on. In the words of your Majesty, they have said, let us make what is abnormal normal. All over the world, people of different faiths and all walks of life celebrated this day. All over the world, people of goodwill rejoiced at the leadership of King Hussein, who, with his courage, discipline, and vision, honored King Abdullah's wish as he embarked on his last journey to Jerusalem, when he said, do your very best to see that my work is not lost. Continue it in the service of our people. Now it can be said, Your Majesty has met King Abdullah's charge, and in so doing you are meeting the challenge of history and advancing the cause of peace throughout the Arab world. Today's victory is also in keeping with the history of Jordan, which has long been a model for progress and a voice of moderation in the Arab world. From the beginning, when King Abdullah brought together disparate peoples in a united kingdom, following this path has never been easy for you. Yet in the midst of hard times and conflicts, you are building a society devoted to the growth of pluralism and openness. You have established a parliament where all voices can be heard. You have nurtured a growing partnership between Your Majesty and all Jordanian citizens. Your nation's commitment to pluralism has been matched by a remarkable generosity of spirit, for you have opened your doors to millions of your Arab brethren, and they have come here year after year seeking refuge in your nation, and here they have found a true home. In return, they have enriched your economy and your culture. My country, a nation of immigrants from every area of this world, respects your openness and your understanding that diversity is a challenge, but it can be a source of strength. America's commitment to Jordan is as strong tonight as it was when Your Majesty traveled to the United States for the first time 35 years ago and met President Dwight Eisenhower, the first of 8 presidents you have known. The President and Your Majesty discussed the great threat that communism then posed to America and to the Arab world. And when President Eisenhower asked what America could do to help, Your Majesty said then, we need more than anything else the feeling that we do not stand alone. Now, at a time when those who preach hate and terror pose the greatest threat to the cause of peace, President Eisenhower's response still holds true. 35 years ago, he told Your Majesty, our country knows what you have done. Believe me, we won't let you down. Both of us, Jordan and America, are fighting the same battle. Today, that battle is the struggle for peace. And I say again, on behalf of the United States, we will not let you down. From the outset, America's commitment to a comprehensive peace in the Middle East has been backed by a strong pledge that whenever Arabs and Israelis turned the page on the past, the United States would work with them to write a real, practical future of hope. Those who take risks for peace must not stand alone. We will work with Jordan to meet your legitimate defense requirements and to give you the security you deserve. But for peace to endure, it must not only provide protection, it must produce tangible improvements in the quality of ordinary citizens' lives, and in so doing, to give those citizens a real stake in preserving the peace. The United States understands the need for peace to produce real benefits, and we are taking steps to meet that goal. We have pledged to forgive all of Jordan's debt to our own government, and we have encouraged, indeed urged, other countries to do the same. From one end of your border with Israel to the other, the U.S., Jordan, Israel Trilateral Economic Commission is preparing to invest in progress, visionary designs to develop the Great Rift Valley, ambitious projects to produce more energy and fresh water, new efforts to extract minerals from the Dead Sea, and exciting plans to encourage visitors to share the wonders of your lands. All these are being brought to life. Making these dreams real, of course, will require new investment and new capital. To that end, the United States supports the creation of a Middle East Bank for Cooperation and Development. And we will take the lead in consultations with governments within and beyond the region to ensure that the bank is properly structured. Our government's Overseas Private Investment Corporation is establishing a $75 million regional investment fund to encourage American investment in projects like those in the Rift Valley. And the United States will actively pursue practical means of expanding trade and investment opportunities with Jordan. We will consider a wide array of measures, including a bilateral investment treaty, other trade arrangements, and other initiatives that will lessen barriers to trade and increase prosperity in your area. These critical steps and others to provide your citizens with the economic opportunities they deserve are vital to building peace in Jordan and throughout the Middle East. If people do not feel these benefits, if poverty persists in breeding despair and killing hope, then the purveyors of fear will find fertile ground. Our goal must be to spread prosperity and security to all. After all, the chance to live in harmony with our neighbors and to build a better life for our children is the hope that links us all together. Whether we worship in a mosque in Irbid, a Baptist church like my own in Little Rock, Arkansas, or a synagogue in Haifa, we are bound together in that hope. Yet, though we know in every corner of the world people share that hope, there are those who insist that between America and the Middle East there are impassable religious and other obstacles to harmony, that our beliefs and our cultures must somehow inevitably clash. But I believe they are wrong. America refuses to accept that our civilizations must collide. We respect Islam. Every day in our own land, millions of our own citizens answer the Muslim call to prayer. And we know the traditional values of Islam, devotion to faith and good works, to family and society, are in harmony with the best of American ideals. Therefore, we know our people, our faiths, our cultures can live in harmony with each other. But in the Middle East, as elsewhere across the world, the United States does see a contest between forces that transcend civilization, a contest between tyranny and freedom, terror and security, bigotry and tolerance, isolation and openness. It is the age-old struggle between fear and hope. This is the conflict that grips the Middle East today. On one side stand the forces of terror and extremism, who cloak themselves in the rhetoric of religion and nationalism, but behave in ways that contradict the very teachings of their faith and mock their patriotism. These forces of reaction feed on disillusionment, on poverty, on despair. They stoke the fires of violence. They seek to destroy the progress of this peace. To them I say, you cannot succeed. You will not succeed. You must not succeed, for you are the past, not the future. The people of Jordan and all those throughout the Arab world who are working for peace are choosing progress over decline, choosing reason, not ruin, choosing to build up, not tear down, choosing tomorrow, not yesterday. The people of Jordan on this day, through King Hussein, have pledged themselves to a treaty based on a fundamental law of humanity, that what we have in common is more important than our differences. This was the message of Moses' farewell address to the children of Israel as they gathered to cross the River Jordan, when he said, I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Choose life so that you and your descendants may live. And it is the message the Prophet Muhammad brought to the peoples of other faiths when he said, there is no argument between us and you. God shall bring us together, and unto him is the homecoming. Today, the people of Jordan and the people of Israel have reached across the Jordan River. They have chosen life. They have made a homecoming. And tonight we say, thanks be to God. Alhamdulillah.
أن تكونوا
We
فخامتكم
observe
أول
the
رئيس
first
دولة
foreign head of
أجنبية
state
يخاطب
to
البرلمان
address the
الأردني.
Jordanian Parliament.
ذات
Friendship
صداقة ازدهرت
which has
على مدى
flourished for almost
يقرب من نصف قرن،
half a century.
وإن هذه
This
الصداقة
friendship
قد ترسخت
is fairly
على
embedded
أسس
in
متينة
the solid
من
foundations
المبادئ
An Israeli peace treaty, Mr. President, would also not have been attainable without your help, support, and understanding.
كما كان التزام
The
الولايات
commitment
المتحدة
to make the
الأمريكية
United States
بأن تكون
appreciation.
والآن يا فخر ستستمر
will continue
بأن تستمر في دعمنا
to assist us
لتحقيق هذه
in
الأهداف
achieving this noble
النبيلة كما
endeavor,
دعمتنا
just as it
في
helped us
التوصل إلى
attain
السلام
the
الذي انتظرناه
long-awaited
طويلا.
peace.
حضرات الأعيان
Mr. President, thank you for that generous introduction. Your Majesty, thank you for welcoming me to your beautiful country and for giving me the opportunity to accept your kind hospitality after your many visits to our capital. I thank you all for the honor to address this assembly and to reflect with you and supports the choice you have made. And we will stand with you in the months and years ahead. Today, the people of Jordan pay homage to those who led the great Arab revolt for freedom, independence, and unity. You honor the memory of 3 generations of Jordanians who gave their lives in defense of your country. You urged your people to commit themselves to establishing a new, humane, and natural order. Now the people of Jordan have said, enough of blood, enough of tears. It is time to move on. In the words of your Majesty, they have said, let us make what is abnormal normal. All over the world, you are building a society devoted to the growth of pluralism and openness. You have established a parliament where all voices can be heard. Your Majesty said then, we need more than anything else the feeling that we do not stand alone. Now, at a time when those who preach hate and terror pose the greatest threat to the cause of peace, President Eisenhower's response still holds true. 35 years ago, he told Your Majesty, our country knows what you and new capital. To that end, the United States supports the creation of a Middle East Bank for Cooperation and Development. And it's like those in the Rift Valley. And the United States will actively pursue practical means
of expanding trade and investment opportunities with Jordan. We will consider a wide array of measures, including a bilateral investment treaty, other trade arrangements, and other initiatives that will lessen barriers to trade. We are bound together in that hope. Yet, though we know in states, our cultures can live in harmony with each other. But in the Middle East, as elsewhere across the world, the United States does see a contest between forces that transcend civilization, a contest between tyranny and freedom.